Hello, everyone. I'm here to share my thesis proposal with you all, which is effective leadership development programs for millennials. So, I'm defining leadership as those having at least one direct report. So, it's more of a positional leadership. But my question is, what is an effective leadership development program for developing millennials? Some key buckets I'll be focusing on will be millennials, leadership development programs, and technology. So, how did it all begin? So, it started when I was having lunch with my boss, and we were just talking about our current team and sharing what's been on our minds. And that's when he says something along the lines of, Max, you're the only one on the team right now that's ready to move into a leadership role. There really isn't anyone else who's ready for the next level, and I'm getting stretched thin. We need to develop more leaders. So, after my conversation with Alex, I began wondering if this was a team problem, a Disney problem, or an industry problem. So, I began doing some research. The first article I came across was from the Harvard Business Review, where in 2012 they conducted a survey, and 67% of companies surveyed said they needed to entirely revamp their middle management development programs. So from there, I got a better sense that this might not be that this is an issue worth exploring for a thesis. So from there, I came across Crystal's book, The Millennial Myth, which is awesome. So just a shameless plug for Crystal here. And that really helped get me started with my framework for my research. Most of the things I was finding on millennials were focused around generational differences, but Crystal challenges this by talking about shifting the conversation from generational differences to one about adjusting to a more modern workforce. So from there, I got curious about technology and its impacts on leadership and discovered a 2017 kind of white paper or journal from Burson by Deloitte, where it introduced me to the idea of how leadership has been disrupted by technology. So from there, I looked into technology and Accenture actually published a great article about how to leverage technology to your advantage and not seeing it as an enemy. So some good stuff there. So why is this important, right? So from an organization perspective, effective leadership programs are very necessary. A 2017 research from Burson Deloitte found that organizations that currently lack mentoring and have unstructured training programs will find that they have a hard time accelerating development compared to those that do. And then brain drain. Like with baby boomers beginning to retire, organizations are at risk of brain drain without knowledge transfer programs in place, leadership skills being one of them. And employee engagement. There has been research done around leaders that have indicated from a Gallup poll in 2016 that 55% of millennials are not engaged at work. And that's the highest of any generation. The Harvard Business Review conducted a survey that discovered only 48% of the millennial talent plan to stay at their current jobs 2 years or less, which costs organizations a lot of money to rehire and replace that individual. So from a millennial perspective, why this is important is that millennials are the largest living generation in the world today. Just from a talent perspective, it's just a huge market with a lot of potential. And the next piece really is different preferences for other generations. Like every generation, millennials are no different. But the one piece that we have that's very different is that we are a generation that has been impacted by technology. Millennials, and this is to borrow words from Crystal's book, verbatim, millennials are both the first generation to form their world perspective from a digitally influenced vantage point and the last to remember what it's like to not always be connected. Technology is highlighted because accelerated technology advancements in fields like artificial intelligence, machine learning, mobile platforms, computer vision, social collaboration systems have really revolutionized the way we live, work, and communicate. So for my methodology, I will most likely be doing a qualitative study and doing a convenience sample as a study of Disney. I'll be interviewing millennials who aspire to be leaders. I will ask questions to understand their learning styles, preferences, and to discover what works for them and what doesn't. I will also interview L&D program managers to get an understanding of their existing offerings uh, for developing leaders, if any. And so from there, I'm hoping to align both to discover effective leadership programs for millennials. Well, that is my thesis proposal. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in France. Au revoir.